All right, so right now I'm waiting on uh, next month to be able to buy some fuel line, fuel line, and a few last minute parts to wrap up or to begin on the fuel line uh, rerun and all that kind of stuff, and then hopefully to wrap it up at some point. But anyways, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to be doing some stuff that doesn't really cost me any money, or very, very little money at least. So got the car up, got the tires off, and I'm going to be trying to do some chassis restoration and painting and that kind of stuff. So there's a few interesting things that I've come across on the Thunderbird so far. And basically what I'm doing today is just kind of find out what kind of things I can take off, remove for weight reduction, that kind of stuff. And so I'm kind of still exploring, but a few interesting things on this rear inner wheel housing. There's a little, I'll show you on the other side, but there's a little panel here that I think is just kind of an extension piece. So I need to do a little bit more digging around on it to just kind of find out exactly what it is. I don't want to take something off necessarily if it's structural for the panel, which I think may or may not be what the front ones do, which I'll show in a second. And the other thing too is just cleaning, and I'll get into it a little bit, but there's a few products that I was hoping to use, or one in particular, which is Cosmoline, which some of you may recognize, but I think that's just a generic term for the type of coating. But now there's actually a company that they may have, I don't know, acquired the name after it became, the patent expired. I don't know exactly how that all works, but anyways, there's a company named Cosmoline Direct, I think is the company name. They may be more of like a just a term that they use. I don't know if that, but I think that's the company name. But regardless, it's a wax coating that was initially used for military things. So some of you watching this may have older guns, like World War II era guns and stuff, and they would coat that. And then also just generic old parts, like if you find some new old stock parts back in the day, maybe coated in like a wax film, which is Cosmoline from what I understand. So anyways, that was my first choice, and Cosmoline Direct offers a traditional Cosmoline, which is like dries it kind of like a caramel color, and then but they also have a tinted black, which is my first choice. Although it's just a little bit spendy, it wouldn't be so bad if I could find it locally, because it's actually per can is pretty reasonably priced. I think it would work out to about like $30, maybe $35 Canadian, but then with shipping. So at this point, I'm not going to be doing that, but I may hopefully be able to do that in some areas, especially like the wheel wells and stuff. But I think I know what I'm going to be doing for starters, at least, is to get some things coated is just black Rust-Oleum, gloss Rust-Oleum. So, but this is the front one here, of the extension. Now, this is kind of off topic slightly, but I never made a video on it. But when I redid the heating system on the car, this was actually supposed to be the access point to get to the bolts on the blower fan. I didn't know that at the time. I wish I had, because I think it would have made it a lot easier. But so if nothing else, this is at least an access plate. But it could potentially be removed. The only reason why I wouldn't remove it is if it turns out to be structural. But I don't think it's going to really do much to hold. I think we should be okay in that regard. The other thing is it could possibly create drag. Now, any gains I might make by taking it off, I could potentially lose in it being less aerodynamic and, kind of catching air here. But so I got to do a little bit more thinking on that. From what I understand, my limited knowledge of aerodynamics and stuff is that air is most, or you could most closely picture air as, or relate air to being functioning how water would function. And, it very much does act like water from what I understand. But, so I would imagine as you're cutting the air goes over, and then the air hits here. And yeah, there, certainly would be some air coming up in here, but I think the large part gets forced down, which is, one of the reasons why race cars have lower fronts, or the whole car is lowered. And that is something I'm looking into doing, is lowering the front end about 2 inches over the winter, but we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so that's that. But yeah, I don't want to do it. If anybody has anything to add, I don't really know if this would change anything as far as aerodynamics go. I'm definitely not like taking this on an oval tracker thing. It'd be more like quarter mile kind of stuff. So, but anyways, so those two are very similar. So I'll be looking into that. But then, as I mentioned on the other side, this appears to be missing, or either that or it was only on this one side. But this one here seems to be slightly structural, but not much. Like you can see, there's only one bolt there, so it's not going to be doing much to hold the rear quarter in, if anything. And as you can see, it's some bad bonder work was done, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be coming down the road, perhaps. But anyway, so this is going to be one thing that can probably go, because I'm not going to be taking this car, on gravel roads. I'm not going to be taking it, aside from driving down my short gravel driveway here at the place we rent. But other than that, I'm not going to be, driving it in the rain intentionally. Not going to intentionally drive it in the snow. So that should be able to go. And then some areas like this, I'm gonna do a little bit of treatment, and this is mostly just cosmetic, truthfully. It's not. I'm not looking to really protect the metal long term. That would be a good plus to me recoating things, but that's not my main intent, I guess. But it would be good, if I ever have to park those outside again, that it would weather. But like I said, Cosmoline is my first choice. I can't afford it right now. I may see how budget goes next month, but my next thing that I want to buy, and for most of us, money doesn't grow on trees. So my next thing that I need to get is buy the rest of the parts for the fuel system that I need. So anyways, but what I do have is some gloss black Rust-Oleum brush paint, a can of it. So that's what I'm probably going to start with, because before I run my new fuel lines along the rail, I want to paint that so that I can put my fuel line. So that's kind of what got me started, and thinking in the direction of undercoating. I'd looked at it a little bit before, but anyways, that's kind of what's coming here. So I'm going to pop off. I'm here now, so I'll probably do this one, and let's see what's underneath. Okay, so got this piece popped off, and there it is. A lot of really big bolts holding it on, which I find is odd, because it doesn't appear like it's really doing much, structurally at least. There's this one just appears to go into the frame, and it's actually threaded. It appears to be threaded just into the frame here. Let's see which one that was. I think that was this guy here. Let me just show you. But it must have had a clip on the backside. Yeah, no, that one just threads into the frame. And then there was another one here, another large one here with this really big washer. But, all this adds up. I don't know, this is probably, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, somewhere around there. But what I thought was interesting, let me just also check out this new light for you Canadians here watching. I got this at Princess Auto. I think it's actually a Power Fist brand, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe not. It might not be. Anyways, it was like originally like $17, and they had it on sale for like $10, so I picked it up. But it just plugs in. It's a pretty bright LED, and it has this pretty sweet cage on it. Just a simple hanger there. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, it's got pretty easy to disconnect and stuff too. Anyways, but having that off, you can see. Let me just set that there. You can see all the clips that it just attaches to. The only spot that is somewhat structural, it didn't really seem to change anything here, but this bolt I'd probably put back in, because this is the whole fender or wheel well, and so I'd probably put that back in. But it's interesting because now having this out, you have immediate access to the cab mounts. So that's interesting. Also, let's see, where is it? Better access to the fuel line. Not like you really needed it, but if you're curious where the factory fuel line runs, you can see right down there, perhaps right there is the hard line. And this is a rubber line that connects. So that is actually factory having that. I wonder what that line is there. Oh, that would be the brakes, maybe the e-brake line. A cable, I'm not 100% sure. But then back there, you have access to some of the transmission or the gear selector linkage. And where's my screwdriver here? But at some point, they had taken this car, or at multiple points, had taken this car off-roading, and there's some big clumps there. So, and you can see on here, that's all like topsoil. And this car's from Saskatchewan. A lot of farming there. I mean, that's not necessarily saying how it got off-road, but it definitely was taken in some fields a time or two. And yeah, I've cleaned a lot of dirt, but you couldn't really see this unless if I had taken this off here. So it allows me to just get access. I mean, there's probably, like, that's all a big, massive clump. So there's a lot of dirt in here. But anyways, so it doesn't really seem like there's any reason to keep this on. The only reason I could think of is if for some reason this would actually damage aerodynamics. But I really don't think it would. Like, any air that's coming up in here and getting caught in this area is like, it's already too late, as it were. So I don't think having this is gonna catch more, and just as soon as it got in there, it could get out, kind of thing. So anyways, yeah, I'm not an expert. I mean, the only way to really tell, I guess, is if you did several back-to-back tests on it. But at any rate, it gives me better access, and it's not like it's not protecting anything. If I was driving this car on gravel roads, yeah, I'd probably leave it on, but I'm not. I'm have other plans for it. So, all right, so we got what I could have with that dirt taken out of the way, cleaned up, and I've already done this a lot on the car in different spots, but spots that have undercoating, and mind you, this is a like a tar-based undercoating. But anyway, spots that are already coming off or readily removable, I'm taking off. There's not tons here. I'll try to get a good example. And then my plan is, if something's still in good condition and it's on, my thought process is it's been on here for 50 plus years, and so I'm going to leave it on, providing that I can find some way to cover it to make it look nice, because I don't want to just paint this, have a nice shiny black, and this have this. So I'm going to test top coating it just for looks with Rust-Oleum and see if it damages it in any way. But yeah, like I said, like if it's on there it's as good as it's gonna get. Like, that's not on there, clearly, and there's rust underneath. So we'll see how it goes. But, you know, spots like that, that's still bonded really well. So I want to see, I mean, I don't know if there's a way to really test, but if it'll even just go on top and even just sit there. You know, they're both oil-based. I don't know. So if that doesn't work, then I'm probably going to resort to spraying this. My next test would be to wait until I can buy some Cosmoline and try that. So that's next to my foot. This is like a size 12 boot. Not that it matters, but that's about it's about half, maybe two-thirds of what came out of that one wheel well. With the undercoating and any dirt that came out, quite a bit of buildup. All right, so this is what the untouched side looks like. Lots of dirt, etc. And then I'll show the other side. So I've got it prepped basically as good as I think I'm gonna for now. So I know it probably looks cleaner on camera, but this is a test. I know this is not a top of the line prep by any means. It's just kind of bare bones, but I did hit everything pretty good with a wire brush. Took a blowgun, and that revealed some more loose spots. But again, I know this is not professional to leave something on like that and paint over it, but the idea is, if it's still on there, just to kind of leave it, because even though some of this loose stuff came off, it's you know, perfectly good original paint underneath. And the spots that were rusted, I'm pretty confident I've exposed those all and flaked it off and hit it with some rust paint, or hit it with some a wire brush. So yeah, like I said earlier, this is kind of an experiment to see how it bonds with the. It's not so much about it bonding. Is it going to make this melt? Is kind of what I'm wondering. You know, is it going to kind of act as a solvent? I don't know. So, anyways, basically what I'm hitting is just this whole intersection for now, and we'll see how it turns out. So, what I'm using is this trim clad here, which is also known as Rust-Oleum. It's just the Canadian version. So the glossier the paint, the stronger it will be, from what I understand, from what I've heard over the years. So I'm gonna give this a stir. I know it says to prime it, but it's not like I'm doing a super professional job on it to begin with. I do have some primer, but it's old, and this stuff does technically have a shelf life. So, you know, it's not the end of the world. I'm never going to, well, I shouldn't say never, but probably no time in the future I'm ever going to do a frame out restoration on this car. And even if I could, even if I had the means to, I don't think I would want to. You know, it's a hot rod. I know some of you are pretty jealous of my garage space, and I know I'm blessed to have it, but it's still very small. Like, you know, to walk between my bench and the car, I got to turn sideways to get it on my vise, and it's tight. I can't even walk around back there. Well, I can, but I have to like shimmy, and I'm scraping the bumper the whole way, so it's tight. Anyways, all that to say, I can't do a frame off restoration in this garage, and you know, no time in the foreseeable future. So a lot of rambling to say that this will cut it for now. So I'm doing this so you guys can see what it is, and if it turns out to be a bad idea, you'll know. So, and that's why I'm just doing it with the one area for now. We'll see how it is, give it lots of dry time, and then I'll do some scrape tests and stuff on it just to see how it looks. So I'm going to get this stirred up and put it on. So it's going to be pretty drippy even if you put on a pretty light coat, and no matter how careful you are, you will get some drips. So Canadian painter's cap and glasses and some clothes that you don't like or don't mind getting dirty, or overalls or something. Anywho, that's what it looks like. So this is just one coat. But the nice thing with the brush is you can kind of work it in, and definitely take probably a little bit longer than spray painting, or well, it definitely does take longer than spray painting, but way more controllable, I guess. And I don't love the shine. That's one of the reasons I really like the idea of Cosmoline, is because it's like a matte finish when it dries. It looks really nice. Kind of looks kind of more similar to like a flat color. I mean, anyways, but we'll see. You know, once it gets a little dust on it, this paint won't look quite so shiny, but it works. So I'm going to give this a couple days to dry. The earliest, it's Saturday evening, so the earliest could be back in the garage would be Monday night at the earliest. So it'll at least have 2 days to dry. And then I will show you what it looks like. And so far I haven't noticed any reaction, like any weirdness with the undercoating, but we'll see in a couple days. All right, so it's 2 days later, and I've done a little scrape test here. Let's see, hopefully you can pick that up on camera and try to get the glare down a little bit. Oh, there we are. So try to get that. So yeah, this section here, you can see I scraped it, and underneath is some rust. So that's more or less bare metal. Up here where it's black behind it is where the original paint was. This is where the some of the leftover undercoating is, and there's still some rust pockets popping through. So I think ideally the best thing to do would be to take it off completely, because even in spots where I didn't think there would be, there's still a little bit of rust that's worked its way under. And but it's a, you know, it's one of those calls I guess to kind of make on a case-by-case basis. So, but overall, I think it could be done, especially in my case. You know, it should probably be okay, but maybe better just to spend the extra time. Not to mention, it doesn't look great having that the leftover undercoating there. So I'm just going to leave this one the way it is, and it'll be a good science experiment to figure out, or to see it down the road as things go. Because there's only one way to really learn, is to test it and see how it behaves in the real world. So you know, overall it's shiny. I don't love the look, but it's a fraction of the price compared to most other undercoatings, or at least good undercoatings. As I mentioned, like Cosmoline would be my first choice, but that would be about $200. And this is about $40. All right, well, check that out. Got a nice cheesy background here. So I think that's about it for this video. I'm probably gonna do all the wheel wells with the Rust-Oleum for starters, and then go on from there. It's just one of those things, like, yeah, I could splurge on the undercoating I want, but you know, you got to kind of pick and choose what you spend your money on. As you know, if you're gonna do a car in this day and age with the way that the prices for everything, and then, you know, not everybody has tons of spare money to throw around. So spending $200 undercoating versus, you know, $30 or $40 is a big difference. So we'll see. But anyways, overall it looks good. It is what it is. It's rust paint. It's Rust-Oleum, so about what you'd expect. But got some more videos coming probably when I tackle some of the other undercoating areas. So, but anyways, that's it for this video, I think. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.